Hi, my name's Jackie Manis. My husband Michael is behind the camera, and these are two of our children helping me today, Yale and Paula. Today we will be making potato kugel. The recipe that you have is for a 9x13. We are making half that because our Seder is so small this year. For a full recipe, you would need 8 medium potatoes, 2 stalks of celery, 2 carrots, 1 large onion divided in half, a 1/4 cup of peanut oil or whatever oil you use for Passover, some more that you'll need later at the end, 4 eggs, 6 tablespoons of matzah meal plus more, 2 teaspoons of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. There's in my regular recipe, when it's not Passover, I also put in creamed corn and 1½ teaspoons of baking powder, and I would use margarine or corn oil. So, first thing you need to do is cut your vegetables up so that they'll fit in your grinder, and saute half of the onion. The other half is staying raw. Okay? Next, we're going to grind it all. Go ahead, Yo. Grind it up. So now all the vegetables are in, except you do need to add the sauteed onions with their oil. Go ahead, Yo. I don't know why some of them are sauteed. Basically, it's because my mother said so. Okay. So now that this is all done, you need to, I mean, you don't need to, but I like to make sure I got everything. Here, Paul. Because look how much is left in there. Rats. So, there's everything. And where's my big old spoon? So you stir everything together. And when you're done, there's going to be a whole bunch of liquid. You got to get rid of the liquid. Okay, sorry, this isn't working. I'm doing it the way I usually do. And we, of course, because I'm doing this in front of people, there isn't a lot of liquid today. So, but you would basically just need to take all this and just dump it out. So, now that we have our vegetables and they're drained and as much liquid out as you can get, we're going to add the 2 eggs, well, 4 eggs for the big recipe. Because it's Passover and you can't put anything to make it rise, some people would take the eggs and beat them. I don't bother. I just stir them in. This is the matzah meal, the salt, the pepper, and we'll put that in, and you stir it all up. And this is the point that my mother would look at it and say, it's not quite right. And she would just start adding matzah meal until she decided it was just right. And I will, so it's still a little wet and mushy. So we will just take the matzah meal and sprinkle a little over. And stir it again. And that's looking pretty good. We might put just the tiniest little bit more in. So that it is moist but not wet. Any liquid that you may have left in is gone. and it's not dry and pasty. So, set that aside. So this is the oil. It needs to cover the pan, but there needs to be more than just a thin layer. It has to actually be in there. Michael's aunt told me that you should always put this in the oven ahead of time to heat the oil. I didn't do that because then I couldn't pick it up for you, but normally I would heat this oil kind of when I was grinding up the vegetables. I would have put it in the oven to let it get hot. If you do that, it would make a brown kind of crunchy crust for you. So then you just spoon the potato mixture in. You can kind of see the oil oozing up over the top. That's good because that'll make more of a crust for you. And if you have made too much because your potatoes were too big, because for whatever reason, you really don't want to overfill your pan. So I have a little too much. So you could, if you have enough, make a second little dish, or you could just let it go. But if you overfill it, then the oil is going to go over the sides and it's going to make a mess of your oven. So this is pretty much ready to go. I don't like it smoothed out. I like it to have little peaks and valleys to get more of a crust in it. So don't spread it clean. But now we're going in the oven for 45 minutes, maybe an hour. You'll just check it. You'll see how much you like it to be done. And in you go. Oh, I forgot the cookie sheet. I put a cookie sheet down here because if it overflows, you don't want the oven to catch on fire. There we go. 45 minutes to an hour. It's been cooking now for just about an hour. It wasn't ready after 45 minutes. Passover Seders are always busy and there's too much to do. This recipe can be made a day or two ahead of time. When you take it out of the oven, let it cool, wrap it up tight, put it in the fridge, and then when you are ready for your Seder, you bring it out in the morning, let it come to room temperature, put it back in the oven to reheat. If it's in an oven by itself, put it back at 375 for 20 minutes. If you need to put it in an oven with other things at a lower temperature, then you'll have to check it and it'll have to heat longer. But let's see what it looks like. Here we go. A nice crust on the top, bubbly, looks good. So that's done. Your Kugel's ready. And from our family to yours, Chag Sameach.